They were the most powerful couple in Hollywood, two megastars whose chemistry burned on screen and off, giving birth to a media storm like no other. But now, after years of silence, Brad Pitt has finally spoken about what really happened behind the scenes. And what he says, it changes everything. This isn't just the end of a marriage, it's the unraveling of an empire. So what drove Angelina to walk away? What made Brad stay silent for so long? And now that the divorce is officially over, what secrets are finally coming to light? Stick around, because the deeper we go into this story, the more shocking it becomes. This is the untold truth behind Hollywood's most painful breakup, and for the first time, Brad Pitt is ready to talk. It all began in 2004 on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Brad was married to Jennifer Aniston. Angelina had recently split from Billy Bob Thornton, but the spark between them, it was undeniable. Their chemistry leapt off the screen and spilled into the real world. Rumors exploded, tabloids ignited, and by 2005, Brad and Jennifer were officially divorced. Brad and Angelina were spotted together soon after, but they refused to confirm anything. That silence only fueled the speculation. By 2006, Angelina confirmed she was pregnant with Brad's child, and the Brangelina era was born. Together they raised 6 children, 3 adopted, 3 biological. They bought a $60 million chateau in the south of France. They became Hollywood royalty, but behind the dazzling red carpet appearances, something else was growing, something darker. By 2016, the fairy tale had soured. On September 19th of that year, Angelina Jolie filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. But the real reason? That's where the story takes a turn. According to reports, there was a now infamous altercation aboard a private jet. Allegedly, Brad had been drinking. An argument broke out. Words turned into yelling. Yelling turned into chaos. Jolie claimed Pitt became verbally and physically abusive, claims he denies to this day. The FBI was involved. Child Services conducted an investigation. Pitt was eventually cleared of any wrongdoing, but the damage was done. Angelina moved out, the children stayed with her, and Brad, he vanished from the public eye, refusing to speak, until now. What began as a divorce turned into a war. An 8-year legal battle over custody, money, property, and most of all, control. There were over 150 court filings, millions spent on legal teams, and at the heart of it all, their children and Chateau Miraval. The vineyard in France wasn't just a home, it was a business, a symbol, and a battleground. In 2021, Jolie sold her stake in the winery to a Russian oligarch. Brad claimed she did it out of spite to sabotage his investment. He sued her for breaching their agreement not to sell without mutual consent. She countersued, accusing him of trying to seize control. It wasn't just about money, it was about winning. In May 2025, Brad Pitt finally broke his silence. Speaking to GQ, he called the divorce just something coming to fruition. To some, his tone seemed cold, detached, but to others, it sounded like a man finally at peace. Brad admitted he's gone through years of therapy. He said he's cut back on alcohol and focused on healing. "I've come to terms with things," he said. But was he deflecting or protecting someone? Because when asked about Angelina, he was careful. Careful not to accuse, careful not to defend, just calm, quiet, measured, as if he knows that anything he says could be used against him. Angelina Jolie, meanwhile, didn't say much, but her legal team did. They described her as relieved that one chapter had closed. They said she was exhausted, but what wasn't said spoke volumes. Insiders claim Jolie still feels betrayed, especially by how Brad handled custody. She reportedly wanted full custody. Brad fought for shared. It tore the family apart. And now, even though the divorce is final, the scars remain. Some say Angelina's children have chosen her side. Others say she's still protecting them from truths too painful to reveal. There are 6 children: Maddox, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, Knox, and Vivian, each caught in the storm. Maddox hasn't spoken to Brad in years, sources say. Shiloh reportedly filed legal papers to remove Pitt from her last name. Pax allegedly wrote in a social post that Brad was a terrible person. Whether true or not, these rifts are real and heartbreaking. Brad once said, "I just want my family back." But can he ever rebuild what's been lost? These kids were raised in luxury but lived through trauma, and in the battle between two icons, they became the collateral damage. This wasn't just a home, it was a war zone. Chateau Miraval produced award-winning rosé, but in court filings, it became a weapon. Brad claimed Jolie secretly sold her shares to a company linked to a Russian billionaire. He said it was an act of revenge. Jolie said it was her right. Now, the vineyard is stuck in legal limbo, and the couple's romantic legacy is rotting in wine barrels. Is this about principle, power, or pride? One thing is clear, even without the marriage, the battle isn't over. Today, Brad Pitt is different. He's not the man we saw in Fight Club or Troy. He's calmer, gentler. He paints. He sculpts. He lives quietly in Los Feliz. He's been dating Inez de Ramon, a jewelry designer, since 2022. Sources say she's the most grounded thing in his life. Brad doesn't go to parties much anymore. He said no to big movie roles. Instead, he's producing, focusing on character, not box office. It's as if he's rebuilding himself from the ground up, but behind that calm, there's still grief. Angelina is just as changed. Once one of Hollywood's most provocative stars, she now walks red carpets with her children by her side. She's focused on humanitarian work, traveling to war zones, advocating for refugees. But she too has withdrawn from big projects. Some say she's protecting her kids. Others believe she's still in recovery. Recovery from the spotlight, recovery from the divorce. She told The Guardian, "I'm not who I used to be, and perhaps she never will be again." Brangelina wasn't just a celebrity couple, they were a global phenomenon, but what we saw was only the surface. Behind the magazine covers and red carpet smiles was a storm that lasted nearly a decade. Now, as both Brad and Angelina move on separately, we're left with one question: was it ever real, or was the whole thing just a Hollywood illusion? Only they know the full story, but one thing's for sure, when Brad Pitt broke his silence, he didn't just end the chapter, he turned the page on one of Hollywood's most painful love stories.